Good morning, students. Today we will discussing the next topic of the chapter from 3 to 10. Dear students, till now we had already discussed regarding how the British East India Company, after leaving itself as a trade union, tried to occupy their territory. We had discussed the two wars that were being fought by the East India Company. One was the Battle of Plassey, that was fought in 1757. Then Battle of Buxar, 1764. It means we have already discussed 1757. It was the Battle of Plassey. We know that in this battle the Britishers were the winners. It means it was the first political victory, territorial victory of British in India. Then I might have told you 1764, it was the Battle of Buxar. This Battle of Buxar tried to eliminate, you can say, Britishers had eliminated the three important powers of India: Nawab of Bengal, Nawab of Awadh, and the Mughal Emperor. These all already had been posing a threat to the British East India Company. So by surrendering these powers, they were becoming free and becoming more powerful in India to expand their territory. Another one, just before the Battle of Buxar, we had in 1761. It was the third Battle of Panipat. Third Battle of Panipat, actually it was not fought by the Britishers. It was fought between the Maratha and the Afghan ruler Ahmad Shah Abdal. In this battle, the Maratha were badly defeated. Their power were completely crushed. Even if Britishers did not fought this war was very important for the British point of view, because in the southwestern part of India, it could simply eliminate one of the emerged power at that times, and reduce its threat. After the Battle of Buxar, it is known that the company rule started in India. We can say for the next 8 years, it was not directly the company rules, but it was 1764 to 1772. It was the dual government in Bengal. Dual government in Bengal, it means in Bengal presidency, it had the two rulers, we can say two rulers. British were indirectly rulers, he had got the right to collect the taxes, and the Nawab of Bengal, who was appointed by the Britishers, they were ruling it, they had no right to collect the tax. It means conditions of the people of Bengal was very miserable. Now, customs, after 72, they started appointing the Governor General. Governor General used to be the representative of British East India Company in India. It means first Governor General was appointed in 1772. and this post lasted till the British East India Company lasted in India. Just you have to pay attention. British East India Company, it was lasted till 1857. We will discussing about the revolt of 1857. After what changes were brought after 1857. After the revolt of 1857, that we will discuss in the chapter 5. Next chapter is there. In say 1858 to 1947, this year was not the rule of British East India Company. Actually, it was the rule of in British Crown, British Parliament, British government, and their representative in India, they were known as the Viceroy. When these two words comes, Governor General and Viceroy, don't get confused. Your mind must distinguish between these two words. When the word Viceroy comes, it means we are talking the period between 1858 to 1947. And when the word Governor General comes, it means we are talking the period between 1772 to 1857. It means, is it clear? I think so. Governor General means Governor General was the representative of British East India Company in India, and Viceroy was the representative of British Crown in India. So we will first discuss in this one about the Governor Generalship, means company rule in India. How the company rule started or expanded. We will discuss a little about it. When the company established its rule, 1772, and when they established, they found it better to use the resources of that area. It was better for them to use the resources because it was controlling it. It means the part that was controlled, politically controlled, and their resources were being used, we can say that part became the colony of the British East India Company. Later on we will talk that the whole India became the colony of British East India Company. Colony is the word means not today we are talking about the colony or a mohalla. It was the area, it was politically controlled by the British East India Company, and their resources were being used for the benefit of the British East India Company. Now, what were the different methods to expand the British power in India, British company power? Now, we will just go through it. For this purpose, the British East India Company introduced two policies, two type of methods, not policy, methods they use. One was the policy and another was the war. It means they were increasing their territory by two methods. One was the policy that the British East India Company had introduced. Another one was through the war, means winning it. We will discuss separately about the policy as well as the war. First, we will discuss about the policy. We segregate the contents of the book, then it becomes easy for us to understand it. Because if you go through the book, in the book, sometimes policy is given, then war is given, then policy and the war. It may create the confusion to students to understand it. If we segregate it, between the policy and the war, then it becomes easy for us to understand. Now first we will discuss about the policy. Now see, policy of British East India Company. Policy of British East India Company. What were the policies? First policy. Subsidiary alliance system. Subsidiary alliance system. It was introduced by Lord Wellesley. He was the Governor General, and he was the Governor General of British East India Company since 1798 to 1805. Lord Wellesley was the Governor General. It must be created to you understand. When we are talking about the Governor General, it means we are talking about the British East India Company rule. He was the Governor General and he introduced the policy in 1798 itself. Its name was the Subsidiary Alliance System. Now, what is the Subsidiary Alliance System? To understand Subsidiary Alliance System, the British, we can say, our language we say that Indian peoples may be very much comfort feeling, आराम चाहिए, ज़्यादा मेहनत नहीं करना. Who will go for take the taxes? And my country British tell you, why should you take so much pain? So we will organize and give the training to the soldiers while you are appointing it. In lieu of it, you just pay for it. In simple words, it looks very simple that armies or soldiers were appointed by the state on the basis of contract. And who were the contractor? The British East India Company were the contractors. You might say, sir, इसमें तो कोई problem नहीं है. They have been organized it. अभी तक तो लगता है, it seems that there is no any problem and we don't find any reasons that it would help the British East India Company to expand their territory. When we discuss this policy, when we discuss about terms and conditions, it will make you feel, it will make you understand how British were able to increase their territory without fighting a war. Is first terms and conditions of subsidiary alliance system. The first terms and condition of subsidiary alliance system, it was that the rulers, the princely estate who were going to accept the subsidiary alliance system had to disband his own army. मतलब उनके पास अपनी आर्मी नहीं रहेगी. They have to disband their army. अपना आर्मी को खत्म कर देना. Disband their army. अपनी आर्मी खत्म. The first condition, it was the rulers who were accepting it had to disband their own उनकी अपनी आर्मी खत्म, जो यहाँ के रूलर्स थे उनकी अपनी आर्मी नहीं है, आर्मी कहाँ से। सेकेंड कंडीशन वाज the rulers had to maintain a British standing army, not the Indian army. Which army? British standing army. They have to keep the British standing army. British standing army. These army were being trained and paid by the British East India Company. इनकी ट्रेनिंग कौन दे रहा था? ब्रिटिश ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी, मींस उनके ऑफिसर्स। इनका पेमेंट, हु वर मेकिंग द पेमेंट? ब्रिटिश ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी। तो ब्रिटिश ईस्ट इंडिया का क्यों देंगे? कहा गया द रूलर्स हैड टू पे for the maintenance of army. Who will pay? It will be paid by the rulers, but rulers have no direct control over the army, because army was being paid by the British East India Company, as well as it was also being trained by the British East India Company. Furthermore, to eliminate all their policies, suppose that you may say, नहीं देंगे क्या होगा? It was written in the terms and conditions. If the rulers fail to pay for the contingent force or a standing force, then their territory would be annexed. उनका राज्य का एक हिस्सा ले लिया जाएगा. It had happened to many states. It also happened to the our, who had to cede half of his territory for not paying the payment in time. It means they have to pay, otherwise their territory would be annexed. राज्य ले लेंगे, एक तो पहले ही हो गया डायरेक्टली, आर्मी नहीं है तो राज्य क्या करेगा, स्टेट क्या करेगा? It is simple that they would follow the instruction of the British, not the rulers. It was not visualized by the rulers at that time. Next policy is territory would be annexed. Then it was said that the rulers who were accepting the subsidiary alliance system had to expel all the non-British European from their court. Here the non-British European means only one power comes indirectly, it was the France. It means they cannot keep anyone in their court other than the Britishers. And the rulers had to accept a resident in their court. Resident in their court, it means simply shows that the rulers had to keep a British officers in their court. Simply, the British East India Company had introduced it, keeping in view that rulers cannot make any conspiracy against the East India Company. Then furthermore, expelled, power खत्म हो गया. Rulers cannot go for any negotiations or war or treaty, we can say, with the other rulers, other states, without the consent of the British East India Company. It means their external policy were also completely dominated by the British East India Company. Soldiers were not in the hand of the state, and their external policy were also not in the hand of the British East India Company. Turkey next, their policy, external policy were next. It means by this way, it understood that the territory or the state who accepted it simply become a prey in the hand of the British East India Company subsidiary line system. The first state Nawab of Hyderabad. Tanjore, Awadh, 1799, 1798, 1801. After that one, we will just discuss in the next phase. There were many states also who were forced to accept the subsidiary alliance system. I do hope you have understood what was the subsidiary alliance system. The second policy, that was introduced, it was the claim to paramountcy. It was introduced by Hastings, who was Governor General of British India from 1813 to 1823. What does the word claim to paramountcy mean? The claim to paramountcy means that the British rule is supreme in India. No any power in India can overshadow the British rule. That means all Indian rulers had to accept the British as their superpower, means their immediate boss. Actually, this policy did not went unchallenged; it was challenged also. Karnataka. In Karnataka state, today is present day of Karnataka, there was a state known as the Kittur. Kittur. Here, Rani Channamma resisted this policy. These policies was resisted by the Rani Channamma. She was captured in 1824 and she died in 1829 in jail. Captured 1824 and died in 1829 in the jail. It means she was captured. Her work was carried out by a chowkidar. Chowkidar Rana, he was the chowkidar of Sangoli in Kittur. He was captured and hanged in 1830. Captured and hanged. Killing to paramountcy, another policy. In this one, this policy was challenged by Rani Channamma of Kittur, that is in Karnataka. She was arrested in 1824 and she died in 1829. Her policy was carried by a Chokidar Raina of Samboli district. He was simply arrested and hanged in 1830. Till now we have discussed the two policy. Now we are going to discuss the third policy. Third policy was doctrine of lapse. Third policy was doctrine of lapse. It was introduced by Lord Dalhousie, who was the Governor General from 1848 to 1856. Governor General, what does the doctrine of lapse mean? Doctrine of lapse means if a ruler dies without their own son, natural heir, then their territory would be automatically transferred to the British East India Company. This simply shows that the adopted sons were not accepted as the heir to the throne. अगर किसी राजा को अपना संतान पुत्र नहीं है, तब उसके मरने के बाद उसका राज्य ब्रिटिश ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी में शामिल हो जाएगा, सिंपली वो शामिल हो जाएगा। Adopted sons were not simply accepted. Mini state these states were annexed under the policy of doctrine of lapse. It means these rulers did not have their own son. After the death of the rulers, these states automatically transferred to the British East India Company. Simply that we have done. These were the three policies that we have discussed so far. Without fighting any war, they were able to increase their territory. Only this was not, we have to discuss about the war. Now we will discuss about the war that was fought by the British East India Company. they fought many wars. The important war that we are going to discuss right now, it was against the Mysore. The four wars were fought. First, Anglo-Mysore War. The first Anglo-Mysore War, it was fought 1767 to 69. It was fought Hyder Ali versus East India Company, Hyder Ali and East India Company. Hyder Ali was the ruler of the Mysore at that time. So Hyder Ali and East India Company, we can say no more again. This war came to an end by the Treaty of Madras. This treaty brought an end to the first Anglo-Mysore War. Then we fought the second Anglo-Mysore War. The second Anglo-Mysore War was fought from 1780 to 84. In this one we can categorize in two parts. One was 1780 to 82 and then second part 1782 to 84. These two parts we are discussing. This force, it was fought by Hyder Ali. But Hyder Ali died in 1782, so it was fought by Tipu Sultan. This war again gave the supremacy to the British East India Company, and this war came to an end. Then third Anglo-Mysore War 1792 to 92. 1792 92. This war was fought by the Tipu Sultan. Anglo, and fourth Anglo-Mysore War. This was fought in 1799. In 1799, only 1 year, Tipu Sultan was killed at the gate of his own fort because the gatekeeper was bribed by the British East India Company. It means Mysore was won by the British East India Company, and this power was handed over to the former Udayar dynasty of the Mysore, from which Udayar dynasty Tipu Sultan had taken the state. It means after transferring it to the Udayar dynasty, it was accepted the subsidiary system. Just I told you. See how many states are just simply contributing it. Second war, we are talking about the war. First Anglo-Maratha War 1775 to Second Anglo-Maratha War, it was for 1803 to 1805, and Third Anglo-Maratha War, it was 1870 to 80. After these three wars, Maratha Confederacy, which were consisting of the Peshwa, then Bhosle, then Sindhya, Gaikwad and Holkar. You must have read in class 7 textbook. After the third battle of third Anglo-Maratha War, all these three powers, one by one, they accepted the subsidiary alliance system and become the part of British East India Company. Mysore, that we have got it, Karnataka, Maharashtra, it came under the control. Then they also fought another war. In the northeast, go north and northeast. They fought the Sikh War. First Anglo Sikh War, 1845-46, and second Anglo Sikh War, 1848 to 49. After these two wars, the Punjab was also annexed. In 49, Punjab was annexed and simply accommodated into it. Then they also fought the war against the Afghan. Against the Afghan, the most important war, they fought the first Afghan war that lasted 1838 to 1842. Sindh was also annexed in 1843, and Awadh was annexed in 1856 on the ground of bad and maladministration or not proper administration. Awadh was annexed. It was not won. It had accepted socialized systems, but it was directly annexed because it was becoming an important threat in 1846. It means we have discussed the war and policy of the British East India Company to expand their territory. In our next video, we will discuss about the administration of the British East India Company. Okay, thank you.